Yes, thank you.
Sure. We're ready. Okay. All right, if you would please join us for the
One nation under
Before we start our meeting today, I'd like to make a couple of comments about Meridian City Councilman Keith Bird, who passed away last Friday. He served on the city council for many years, and he was very active in the community in a number of endeavors, primarily benefiting the youth of our community. He was a good friend and mentor, and as one of our friends put it, just a good human being. So I'd like to take a moment of silence in honor of Keith Bird. Okay, our first order of business is to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, nay? Motion passes. All right, the first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a commissioner or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. All consent agenda items are commission action items unless noted. Are there any items that need to be removed?
Madam President, I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second?
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed, nay? Motion passes. That takes us to our regular agenda. All the items on the regular agenda are commission action items unless noted. The first item is the FY 2019 first budget adjustments. So we'll start with a presentation from staff.
Madam President, Commissioners, Christine Tandler, Budget Coordinator. I'm here to present a decision briefing on the first budget adjustments for fiscal year 2019. The original revenue budget was just under $130 million. We did have encumbrance roll over from FY18, taking the subtotal to $132.2 million. We have some one-time revenue adjustments accounting for just over $2 million. A significant number of those are the emergency relief funds that we received through the state of Idaho. A lot of those are related to projects that carried over into FY18, and so we cannot submit for those revenue funds until those projects are done. We do have, as you can see on the federal aid, a reduction in federal aid that is significantly related to the Treasure Valley Smart Arterial Management Project that's being pushed into FY20. You'll see an adjustment also on the expenditure side. The operational budget, including the encumbrances from FY18, is $59 million. We do have the most significant adjustment on the operational side is a healthcare holiday adjustment that the district was able to take advantage of, with a proposed operational budget of $158.2. On the capital adjustment side, we had a beginning capital budget of about $68.6 million. We did have encumbrances also on that side, most of those being related to construction of projects that fell into FY19. We have some, I'll go through some of these adjustments here. So on the right-of-way, the significant ones under right-of-way are State Hollister, which does have some potential revenue with that being a federal aid project. Meridian Cherry to Ustick, as well as some additional right-of-way costs related to the Cloverdale Overland to Franklin Emergency Road project. And again, under traffic materials, you can see that adjustment of a reduction there related to that Treasure Valley Smart Arterial Management Project. Some other capital project details that I wanted to bring to your attention there is $1.4 million for the Cloverdale Franklin project. In addition to the additional right-of-way, there were additional costs once that project went out to bid. At the time of the budget, we did not have 100% plans. We do have Cloverdale, Ustick to McMillan, and Staten VMP were also construction adjustments. The federal aid capital maintenance, that's design funds that have a revenue adjustment related to it at 92.66%. And then that Treasure Valley Smart Arterial Management Project again was moved. As you can see, we have a proposed balanced budget at $134.4 million. Staff recommends approval of the first budget adjustments for 2019. I will stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission? Commissioner Baker, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this item? Okay. No volunteers, so commission?
Madam President, I would like to make a motion that we approve the first quarter budget adjustment.
For a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed, nay. Motion passes. The next item on our agenda is the FY19 impact fee loan balance first quarter update. And we'll begin with a presentation by staff.
Madam President, for the record, Christine Tandler, Budget Coordinator. I'm here to present the first quarter impact fee loan balance from the general fund for 2019. The loan balance from October to December 31st decreased about $2.4 million. The main impact fee projects thus far this year are Staten VMP, as well as Cole Road and Franklin Road that's currently under construction. The extraordinary impact fee loan balance at the end of first quarter is just under $1 million. In accordance with Ordinance 231A and Resolution 2270, staff reports a general fund loan of $14.2 million to the impact fee program. I will stand for questions.
All right, are there any questions? Comments? All right, that was just an informational item and doesn't require any action. The next item on our agenda is Resolution 2264, conditional acceptance of a permanent easement over portions of lots 1 through 6, Block 1 of Willow Creek subdivision. This is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing and we begin with a staff presentation.
Madam President, members of the commission, for the record, Bill Gall, Development Review Supervisor. This is a public hearing for Resolution 2264, which is a request to dedicate West Hikes Lane as public right-of-way. On April 4th, 2017, the Willow Creek Owners Association submitted a letter requesting ACHD consider accepting West Hikes Lane as a public street. And on May 5th, the Development Services Manager accepted the application, finding the street would provide a public benefit. The public benefit in this case is that West Hikes Lane serves as primary access for the Cozy Ridge Estates subdivision, which is to the west, consisting of 7 developable single-family lots. Development Services staff performed an on-site inspection and issued an inspection letter to the Owners Association, identifying several items that to be addressed prior to acceptance. Primary concerns were verification of drainage design, easements for drainage facilities and slopes, repair of a minor pavement damage, debris cleanup, and a license agreement for a block wall near the east end. On June 12th of 2018, ACHD received a letter from the Owners Association acknowledging the items in the inspection letter, provided responses to some of the items with additional information, and agreed to complete the remaining items. ACH staff completed a follow-up inspection to verify that the required cleanup and repairs were completed. As you can see here, West Heikes Lane is an approximately 1,350-foot long cul-de-sac off of North Willow Creek Road, located in Ada County. The general vicinity is north and west of the Beacon Light Road and North Eagle Road intersection. West Heikes Lane was constructed in 2014 in conjunction with the Willow Creek subdivision, and plat was also recorded in 2014. Recommended conditions of approval for acceptance include clearing the right-of-way of any existing easements or encumbrances, providing legal descriptions for the right-of-way dedications, execution of permanent easements for the right-of-way dedication by each of the property owners, providing cut and fill slope and storm drain easements as necessary for maintenance, and entering into a license agreement for maintenance of the block wall. And then also paying for the installation of the green public street sign. The acceptance date for public maintenance will be the date that all of the conditions are met and the easements are recorded. Per the maintenance division, annual maintenance for this roadway is around $6,000 based on a centerline mile of cost of $23,000. Staff recommends approval of Resolution 2264 and the request to accept West Heikes Lane with conditions presented and as listed in the resolution. I will stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there questions from the commission? Commissioner Hanson?
Just wanted to confirm, how many homes or lots are on this lane?
West Heikes Lane has 6 adjacent lots to it, and then there are 7 lots in the Cozy Ridge Estate subdivision, which is on the very west end of it that ties directly to it.
At that cul-de-sac at the end.
And the cul-de-sac is at the end.
So one more question. I noticed that it points in the direction of another road that is called West Homer Road. Is there any plans to be connected so that road is a connected road between Valentine and Eagle?
I am not aware of any plans.
Further questions? No. Okay, I have a question. Could you put the graphic back up, please? So does this connect at the end of the cul-de-sac? Is there a public street connection that continues beyond that?
No, at the west end of the cul-de-sac, at the west end of the cul-de-sac is the Cozy Ridge subdivision. It's private access to those 7 lots.
So at this point, we are accepting this as a public street, and it will serve 6 properties at the present time.
It will serve these 6, plus there's currently 2 additional lots that are to the west on the subdivision, and 5 additional lots to be developed. There was 7 lots total.
But those are undeveloped at this point.
I believe two are existing residences, and I believe 2 others have paid impact fees and are being developed now.
And are those shown on this?
They're not. Let me see if I can find that. There's a little bit bigger blowout where you can see that the other 2 houses that are tied to it and the 7 lots total.
So where the cul-de-sac is now will extend beyond as a
As-
public street, or is it just a private
It will
street?
extend as a private street.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions? No? All right, this is a public hearing, so is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this item? Please come up and state your name and address for the record.
Linda Perry Schaefer with the Willow Homeowners Association, Willow Creek. Just to clarify, there are 3 more homes under construction on the Cozy Ridge Estate side. We only have 5 in our 6-lot subdivision and 1 left to be built on. So there are 3 more. One's almost completed and the other 2 are just beginning. So, but there's a lot of traffic going, back and forth, if that helps any.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Anything further for staff? Nope. Then I will close the public hearing. Commission, motion?
Madam President, I would move that we approve the conditional acceptance of a permanent easement over the portions of plots numbered in the agenda, Block 1 of Willow Creek subdivision.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll be opposing the motion. This road is not connected to anything. It's not, doesn't fulfill our obligation to make complete streets. This road currently serves 6 lots, a total of 13 potentially in the future. This essentially functions as a private road, and I don't think the taxpayers should bear the cost of maintaining it. There are many private roads in this county that enjoy the privilege of having no connection, having dead ends. They function just fine, and in fact, there's many with far more homes on it. And I do not support the public taking on the obligation for what amounts to a private driveway to 6 to 13 private homes. And so I will be voting no.
Commissioner Baker, do you have any comments?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Nay.
Motion passes 3-2. All right, the next item on our agenda is a cooperative development agreement with Hayden Homes, Idaho LLC. It's a request for approval, and we'll begin with the staff presentation. Mr. Inselman.
Madam President, Commissioners, Gary Inselman, Development Services Manager. This is a proposed cooperative development agreement to widen a portion of Lake Hazel Road just west of Cole Road. This is the Cole. Sorry. Excuse me. This is the Cole Lake Hazel intersection project that was just completed last year. On your agenda today, on the consent agenda, was Lake Hazel Road Reclaim Project that runs from just west of the proposed project, west to Maple Grove Road, which will rehab the pavement and widen the road to 3 lanes at all of the intersections, provide widened shoulders similar to what was done between 5 Mile and Maple Grove a couple years ago. The proposed project is between the two, our intersection project from last year and the reclaim project for this year, starting in March. The proposed project will match the street section at the end of the intersection project, be 5 lanes with bike lanes. The development of Besseri subdivision is on the north and south side of Lake Hazel Road here, the open field. The developer will be building 10-foot wide detached concrete sidewalks on both sides of the road. The design of Lake Hazel Road between Maple Grove and Cole is at a 35-mile-per-hour design speed. The curves that are within the alignment of the road keep the speed at that amount. That is the posted speed limit from east of Cole Road to a half-mile west of Cloverdale Road. Hazel Road is a mobility arterial. The Besseri subdivision has been annexed and approved by the city of Boise. Project costs are estimated at approximately $500,000. The development agreement would specify a reimbursement of $200,000 through an impact fee credit to Hayden Homes, with the remainder payable upon completion of the project, and would come out of the budgeted FY19 corridor preservation funds. And with that, staff would recommend approval of the cooperative development agreement and stand for any questions you may have.
Are there questions? Commissioner Hanson?
Just have one question. The director in his email to us yesterday said the curved road best assures the posted 35-mile-an-hour speed limit is met with the signalized crossings. Having driven this road as 2 lanes, and it's very easy to get up to 50 miles an hour. So that curve, which is very, very gradual. What I couldn't find where in the development agreement that there would be some shared responsibility to ensure design features when you go from 2 to 5 lanes will ensure that speed limits will be, the speed conditions, the design condition will keep speed within 35.
Madam President, Commissioner Hanson, the alignment of this road was determined 15 years ago when we started building it through the Moon Ridge subdivision, and the design of the curves in the roadway were at a 35-mile-per-hour design speed. There is, being a mobility arterial, we would not provide traffic calming features on an arterial to try to limit the speed, but on a personal note, driving this road twice a day, every day, I know that those curves do slow you down to 30 to 35, even in free flow conditions. That's my experience on it every single day. So I think we're fairly secure on this stretch of road that excessive speeding isn't a concern at this time.
One more question. I noticed there's currently only 4 cross streets, and that because they're all the homes all back up on this road, so there's not a whole series of connected streets. So those 4 cross streets, and I assume there'll be 1 more in this new subdivision. Cross meaning access points, right?
No, Busseri subdivision does not access Lake Hazel
Oh,
Road.
so it's not, so we'll just have those 4.
Correct.
So why is it necessary to have that center turn lane run the entire distance rather than having just a left turn pocket?
Well, Commissioner Hanson, on the reclaim project at the 3 eastern intersections, it will be a continuous turn lane just because the taper links to provide the required turn pocket, taper back, then taper back out to provide the turn pocket at the next intersection. It winds up being a continuous center turn lane. Between this intersection and this intersection, the road actually will taper back to 2 lanes in the interim condition with the project that you just approved today.
Further comments or questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Commissioner Goldberg.
Comment is that I applaud the efforts of your team to create an environment here that is just exactly what the new development should be supporting and providing. And I drive it a lot, not near as much as you do, Gary, but and I know you see all the emails as well. Folks are emailing us quite often from that area about some of the speeding a little bit further to the west. And while I applaud what we're doing here, I sure hope that sometime in the future, especially with the new project that's coming down that we had in the consent agenda, that maybe some effort be made to help lessen some of those complaints.
Okay, anything further? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address this item? Seeing no volunteers. Is there a motion?
Yes. Madam President, I move that we approve resolution number 2264, which is the conditional acceptance of permanent easement. Oh, oops, no. Hey,
Wrong
I'm
one.
sorry, that was the wrong one. Who did that last week?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. I move that we approve the cooperative development agreement with Hayden Homes for the construction of Lake Hazel Road to 5 lanes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Madam President, I'll be voting no. I don't believe there's sufficient speed controls written into the development agreement to ensure that if there is speeding along this road, I recognize we don't use level of service metrics for pedestrians, so we actually don't have a tool to determine that. I don't support widening Lake Hazel to 5 lanes right off the bat as it goes into these neighborhoods. I think 2 lanes with a turning lane or 3 lanes at most is sufficient. If at some point, 20, 40 years down the road, it becomes absolutely necessary, then we could do that. But writing that into this development agreement, I don't think is a wise course of action. And I see this as dangerous for the families that are living right along that road, because most of the speeding is going to occur within the many, many hours where we're not at the peak. And I recognize that under the way we plan, we're widening this for peak only. And it's the children walking, crossing in that area, who live in that area, who will be at risk at the non-peak hours. So I can't support this.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And those opposed, nay.
Nate?
Motion passes 4-1. That concludes our agenda items with the exception of public communications. We do have a couple of folks who are here. Doesn't look like you wanted to testify, but is there anyone who would like to address the Commission in Public Communications? No? Oh, did you? Come up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Leslie Scudder, and I live at 346 Harlan Place in Eagle, Idaho. And we've got some concerns. I am the president of the Eagle West Subdivision Water Board. And Suez currently is going right down the middle of our street. Really had no idea where our main water line ran, because we're on an independent water well ourselves. So, and nothing was marked properly. I work in the construction field and sometimes in development, and have a pretty good idea on what needs to transpire. To me, this was putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, and they're being very pushy. I did have a meeting with Suez and JUB engineer, and they really didn't have any answers to the questions that we asked, which kind of really concerns me. Our water system is 40 years old. All the offshoots of our main system will be compromised in one way or another. And they were putting it back on ACHD, that ACHD would be responsible for any damages down the road. I'm not happy with that answer. You know, even though she said that they would take care of the issues right then and there if there was an issue, but what happens 6 months down the road because of compaction, vibration, digging, you know, around our, and I'll say it, fragile lines, because they are older, and we have one burst. We're a small water company, and we don't have funds to replace all these lines going down our street. I do have a handout for each one of you. I just created some bullet points and whatnot. I don't know, may I approach?
Yes, absolutely, if you'd like to give those to us. I do need to let you know, though, that we cannot take any action because it's not an action item on the agenda. We are aware that you've expressed your concerns with staff, and our inspectors have been out there. This is a private project by Suez. We are required by law to allow utilities to work in the right-of-way, but it is a private project. Commissioner, Mr. Price, did you have some information for the commission?
I just wanted to provide some information to the commission and you as well, and that is that as you know, Suez is regulated by the Public Utilities Commission, and in terms of complaints, about their conduct during their road projects as well as the providing the service of water. If you have any, I would recommend that you contact them about their project. Like Commissioner President Arnold had mentioned, by state statute, all utilities, all public utilities, have a legal right to be within the public right-of-way. We don't have any regulatory control over how they conduct themselves other than by permitting. They're also regulated by Digline, and there's a new board that's been created in the last couple of years by the legislature on the Digline issues, and we can get you that information, and you may be able to contact them. But unfortunately, we don't, when the utilities are in the right-of-way, we have to give them the ability to go in there and work on their mains. We don't have any residual liabilities associated with their work. Any damage that they cause, that is something that they're responsible for. And you may be able to pursue that with the PUC or this new licensing Digline board.
She did give me this handout or flyer, if you will, and that's what I'm gonna say it is. It seems like a pretty vague description of what will transpire if something happened to our said water line 2 months down the road. You know, I'm being told now that ACHD has no way to protect us in any way, shape, or form on this. I understand that they have a right-of-way down a county road and all of that. But when we have equipment, and I've emailed them twice already, it actually started digging on Monday. There was somebody in a trench box, or in a trench with no box around them. And I've got concerns on that as well.
That would be an item you would address with OSHA.
Right, and I plan on that. So, but, you know, what I'm being told now by ACHD is that we won't be protected by them like what was stated in our meeting on the 31st with Suez and JUB Engineering. Is that correct?
It's just simply the law.
Okay.
I am telling you, that is the state of the law. I don't know what they're referring to, but this is my understanding of the project, this is Suez's project within our right-of-way. The work that they do and the liabilities that they cause are their issues.
Okay.
And by virtue of the fact that it's our right-of-way doesn't impute any responsibility on us. So I feel your pain, and I would recommend you contact the PUC, and I can get you the name of this licensing board and the contact information.
I would appreciate that. And then I'll take up the other issues with OSHA then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission during public communications? Volunteers, meeting adjourned.